Hi, everyone. Welcome to VR for Work. Today is December 7th, 2020, and we're starting a new series today looking at some applications that fall squarely into the education and training sector of VR. And we're going to be focusing on healthcare, and within healthcare, focusing on anatomy and physiology. There's a number of anatomy and physiology apps that are out in the marketplace that I've kind of played with and looked at for a while that I think deserve a closer look. And so we're going to start today with a series looking at some of these anatomy apps. Our first app that we're going to show is maybe the granddaddy of all of them, and it's 3D Organon. What we're going to do is switch over to the presentation and get started talking about 3D Organon. So what is 3D Organon? Well, it's an anatomy app, but really more than an anatomy app, it's a 3D and VR anatomy teaching and training platform. This is not your kind of consumer level, casual anatomy app. 3D Organon is designed as a teaching platform. It's definitely accessible and available to individuals and consumers to use. But as you look and watch the video on the screen in front of us, you'll notice that one of the things that shows up is a classroom. You see an instructor with a headset, but you see students sitting in a classroom or using a PC or a phone, and in this case, even using AR, doing an overlay. And so 3D Organon, in addition to having just a breadth of information, is also on just about any platform you could think to utilize. And as shown here, also on more than a dozen languages that are available for it. So it is, as I'd said, kind of the granddaddy of the platforms in that it probably has the greatest stretch and reach available. So what is it? It's an anatomy learning platform for academic, institutional, or professional use. Again, never going to rule out the consumer here, but want to make sure everybody in the VR for Work audience knows what this is tailored for. And right from the 3D Organon website, they say, we offer solutions to suit from a single student studying anatomy to large universities and hospitals. So right there, it kind of encompasses what they're targeting in their development of 3D Organon. So it's for students, it's for educators, it's for professionals, institutions, and as I've added, motivated consumers. Well, it covers just about any platform you could think of to utilize. So you can see the variety of headsets here, everything from Oculus Rift, Oculus Quest, so Windows Mixed Reality, Valve Index, Vive Pro. So you are pretty much covered. Pico Neo is listed here also. And then also in 2D/3D with Windows, Mac, iPhone, iPad, and Android. So they have languages, they have platforms, they have content, and it's at a scale that's designed for really large scale implementation. So let's jump in and take a look. And so this is me. I went and I got a 10-day, I think it was, access to their premium level. You can see the environment is a very pleasant, modern medical office surgical center. Menu is on a large wall in front of you. I'm going to pause here. You can see up here this network icon. Well, right here, this is what can connect you to other users or students or to an instructor as you use 3D Organon. So it's built right into the application and the platform. And you'll find that this also plays into the pricing scheme that we'll get into and see later. So let me get back here now. Again, looking around the office, but let's jump in. Menu, network, I'm going to get down here and talk a little bit about the tool set. And you can see that as you click tools, you have this ability: draw, grow, spur, pane, slice. So you have lots of different things that you can do with the modeling that's available to you through the tools. Create favorites, because you will need a bit of a trail to follow to get back when you start looking at all the content that's up here. So I've gone down this right-hand side of the menu, selected regional, and you can see all the systems then populate up here at the top. And so then I can go through skeletal, muscular, cardiovascular, neurological, lymph, respiratory, digestive, thyroid, kidneys, reproductive, on and on and on and on. And you can see that as I select a specific system, in this instance cardiovascular, that you can break that down into its regional components. And again, you know, nervous system, you can see that I'm just not seeing one set of images here, but I can break these down and layer on and within the other systems that these all sit in. And so we're going to go ahead. Oh, I keep doing that. Start the video, get back here. Okay, and microscopic actions. This is really neat, where you can actually take various components of the body. In this case, it's the skeletal system, but I can do it with muscular, with lung, and then actually run the models through a short video clip of how they function. And I don't know, we may even do this with cardiac, but you can actually see the functioning action of each of these systems. And then there's a quiz element, right? This is a teaching and learning tool with a platform. So you can pick a specific system, and then actually there's built-in quizzes, and you can make your own quizzes. You can see that there was an analytics part up there, so you can grade, and all that gets turned in. Right now, I'm just flipping through. In addition to this office, you have two other choices of environment: a light environment or a dark environment, but no other kind of 3D space, if you will. So here I am, I'm looking at the skeleton, and I can pull out a section of the skeleton. And then when you do that, you then get a menu specific to that item that you're looking at. That gives you other functions and controls, and it tells you about the component or the object that you've pulled out, if there are any surfaces, landmarks, parts, and let's continue on. And then if it's a system where things are layered on or under or within, you can actually layer those out. Now, this is a very powerful part of the Organon platform, in that once you select a section, you can then go see all the clinical issues that you can have with that specific item. So we'll jump back there, and we'll look at this again. And so here it is, the clinical abnormalities that you might find with the bony structures of the body. And then also the cadaver images related to that particular regional element of the body. These are kind of less exciting than it sounds, less morbid than it sounds. They're actually very kind of quite colorful, but rather, I guess to me, not being a physician or someone who deals with anatomy, rather boring. But probably if this were your daily job, something that might be very helpful. Now, here's a nice example of these layered images where I can get part of the skeletal system in addition to the arterial and venous flow around them, as well as the supporting structures. And so now I can go on the menu, and then I can start taking away the skeletal structures, and I can leave the cartilage. I can take away the cartilage and leave just the arterial and venous structures. I can take away the heart and just look at the circulation. I can put the heart back. I can take away the venous structures. And then I can actually start reaching in and pulling out even the minutest detail. You can see I pulled off a small vein off of the surface of the heart, and I could get detail and information about that. Again, I can go here into the clinical systems and actually get some explanation about what the underlying function of these systems are. So a lot of detail, a lot of power, a lot of information here, right? I can pull off these very, very tiny pieces. I can study them, get a sense of what they are, how they function, how they relate clinically, put it back, and dig in and kind of, if you'll pardon the expression, slice and dice this in any number of ways. Now you can see now I'm just left with just the heart. I could pull the sacs off. I could pull the chambers apart. I can grow the model. This was very useful and powerful in that I can kind of actually get in there and see the valves, see the various structures within the heart, put it back together. Yeah, this was really, really interesting. And there's, of course, always this gamified element to it once you're in VR. And, you know, once you've grown one model, if you bring another model in, it kind of takes to that scale. So that's why that model came in so large. I had to shrink it down. And now I'm actually looking at one of the videos of the cardiac muscle as it's going through its cycle. Now, I mean, I would have liked to be able to have maybe associated an ECG rhythm with this heart model to kind of get a sense of what's happening with the musculatures during various elements of the cardiac ECG cycle. But again, this is an anatomy app and not necessarily designed to take it that far. But this alone kind of gives you a good deal of detail. Although I think, again, you're going to have to get some external reference to utilize to take this information and have it really more meaningful to you from as far as your study. And this was also fun where you could actually look inside the model while it's going through its motions and kind of see what's happening on the inside. Okay, so what's the secret sauce here with 3D Organon? Well, it contains thousands, I would say over 10,000 detailed, high quality models, images, and documentation. I mean, it is jam-packed with every component of anatomy you might want to study. It's got a great UI. You can break things down systems ways, regional, topographically. You can look at microscopic approaches. Scale, I mean, you can have the ability to have an instructor create and hold multi-user classes. This is not designed just necessarily for a single user experience, just to kind of fumble your way through anatomy, but would best be, I think, experience with a really knowledgeable person leading you through what it is that you're studying. And then again, availability. It can be used on nearly every given device and platform. Cost? Well, there is a free version that anybody can go out and try out on any of these platforms. You get 2 systems and a couple of experiences so that you can get a good sense of what it costs. If you're a student, you should reach out and contact them and likely get a free trial of the upgraded platform. Now, if you're an educator, a professional, or an institution, you can see that you get the remote delivery sessions, the interactive assessments, and the XR modes as part of your agreement. But on their website, you don't necessarily see what the cost is. You have to reach out and request it, which I did. And so I can share with you that I used the Oculus Quest version side-loaded. And what was offered to me was a $150 a year standard license, which doesn't include the interactive quizzes, the cadaveric images, or the ability to create multi-user rooms, right? So you just kind of get the application and it's for your personal use and study. Or at $500 a year for the platform, you get all the content and then the ability to do interactive quizzes the images and the ability to create virtual rooms. Now, before you get into much sticker shock, you should go look up the cost of anatomy books at the college level and do a comparison. And I think you would find that this is well worth it and probably much more informative than a flat 2D image that you might study in an anatomy book. Okay, well, there we are with 3D Organon. I really appreciate you being with us today. Hope you'll continue to check in with us. You can email us at vrforwork@gmail.com, and that's work with no O. Check out our Facebook page, VR for Work, the YouTube site, Rick the VR for Work guy, and our Twitter account, also VR for Work, work with no O. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the metaverse. Bye now.